All right, so here is a brief overview of what your final Metaverse project is that I also went over in class in case you have any questions. So you're going to be making a breakout game for some of your classmates to play. So this project combines a lot of those smaller activities that we did before into one bigger experience that kind of combines everything, makes it more interactive, makes it actually like a game. So, in a breakout game, usually you have like a breakout room if that helps you think about things a little bit better. You have to like collect clues or like follow clues to find a specific password or phrase or code to break out or get out or meet your objective. So, and how you determine that storyline is completely up to you. So, you're going to make a breakout game where either players get access to clues that you give them to help them figure out a secret password or number to break out, or you can have them like collect items along the way. And once they have all the items, they can leave or solve the cure or whatever your story is. To get the clues or items, they'll have to take part in little mini activities like a trivia question or take a picture or answer this poll, um, Google Vision, all those kinds of stuff that we've been practicing. So here is the list of the different things you need to include in your game. So a storyline to your game, and then the story should be related to all the clues and items that you give throughout. So if your storyline has to do with like curing COVID, then everything should be kind of related to that. So collecting medicines or research or items like masks and things like face shields and things like that to help cure COVID or whatever your storyline is, but they all should kind of go together. Or maybe you are trapped in a lion cage and you need to get out, so it's all like animal themed or something. Whatever your story is. A trivia question that should hopefully be kind of related to your game, and if it's not an obvious trivia question or not one that they can kind of figure out, or multiple choice, and you can make it multiple choice where they just keep guessing until they get it right, or if they get it wrong, it sends them to a website or a YouTube video that they can watch or look at to figure out the right answer and try again. So that's one way to go about that. A poll question related to your storyline using Google Vision, a camera scene with a frame, a media wall, receiving items, and having a minimum of 5 clues or items that they collect along the way. So this seems like a lot to kind of figure out and organize. So I did create 2 different templates that can kind of help you figure out what I mean by all of this. So if you're going to do like a clue-based game, so whatever, like you're beginning the story. So like they are locked in a room, they need to open a safe to retrieve specific item to get out, or that's where the key is, or things like that. So you'd have your 5 clues, so that's the minimum. So clue 1, maybe they need to answer a trivia question correctly and they receive a clue. And that clue could then be like a number. Maybe the code to get out of the room is a number where they can do the text input or write it on a post-it card, post-it note or sheet of paper and use Google Vision to like see if they got it right. Complete a poll question, receive a clue to get their second number or their second letter to a word. Use Google Vision to take a picture of blank to receive a clue. Use a camera scene with a frame that goes to a media wall to receive a clue. So the camera scene, frame, and media wall, those are a couple of the different requirements. And then choice, you can have them do something again or something else. You watch this YouTube video and what word did they say first or something. So that kind of gives you an idea of that. And then once they have all the clues, they should be able to solve the password phrase number they need to put in to check to see if they escaped correctly. And then when they exit, they receive an item. So that's that last requirement. So that's kind of an example template that you could use. Another one would be collecting items. So after each of these tasks, you would give them an item. And then at the end of the game, you can have the game check that they have all of these items in their device. And if they do, then they are able to give them back to be free or open the door or solve COVID or whatever your storyline is. So here are 2 examples. They are like longer videos, I believe, but it kind of can give you a little idea of what it all is. So this one is all like Lego themed, so it has all Lego people and you're collecting different pieces, and you can just see that it gets very big and expansive. So it's not exactly what we're doing, but it might give you some ideas on how to do things, how to organize things for different tasks. So you can't just follow this and make this exact thing to meet all of our requirements, and it's probably a lot more than what we need. I wonder, is there one that shows everything? So here is their entire experience. So this is a lot of different things, but you can see it gets organized really well. Things link up. They're getting items later on, stuff like that. So if you need some ideas, you can watch this video. This other breakout game also shows you another idea. So this is one of those tutorials made by the Metaverse people. So it has you do different tasks and things like that and how to organize it. So, and doing different things that some of them are what are required for your project, but you won't be able to just follow this exactly. Let's see if they're zoomed out. That kind of shows a lot of it. So you can kind of see everything that's happening. You can look at their storyline. That might give you an idea because it's something with a chest or getting into the chest to solve the puzzle or whatever it is. So this kind of gives you an idea of some other things that you can do with your project. So you can take a look at either of those. What you're going to work on this week with the project is this brainstorm planning worksheet. So this is just to help you start to figure out exactly. So this will just help you plan out your entire game. And so that way, once you have this all kind of planned out, you just have to like follow along and create it. So these first two green boxes are kind of once you get these two filled in, everything else below should be pretty easy. So come up with a storyline. I did make some examples in there to help brainstorm, but you're going to type out the general concept, include what items, clues, letters, numbers, whatever that you're giving out or collecting. And then everything else you make should relate to the story. So trivia, polls, items, images, all that stuff. And then start planning out those 5 clues. So you can look at the templates like I showed you on Schoology. Or if you don't want to follow one of them, just make sure you are getting all of the requirements covered in your 5 clues. And if you want to do more than 5 clues, you can insert row below and add more in there too, or just type underneath. So then everything else below in these blue boxes should be pretty easy to answer if you have those other 2 things filled out. It's more just like a check to make sure you have everything covered and kind of like, what is your trivia question? So like, what is your trivia question? What are your options going to be? If you want them to go to a website or YouTube video, you can include a link to that so you have it all ready to go in one spot. Poll question. What is your poll question? How do you plan to use Google Vision? How do you plan to use a camera scene, frame, and media walk? So it's kind of all relate together and are usually together. How do you plan to have them receive an item? And if they're getting an item after every task, that's really easy, but maybe you're doing more of a clue-based thing where they get one item at the very end once they break out, or once they say the correct password, they get the key to break out of their jail cell or whatever it is. So, and by filling this out, it should really help you figure out all of those stuff for the requirements to get them all in there. And you can just check as you're building it that you're getting everything in, and you kind of have a plan laid out so that next week you just have to start making it in Metaverse. So I did also link in like what the grading points is. So you get points for doing that planning sheet. You are going to look at each other's. I'll put you guys in groups to play each other's games and peer review and fill out a Google form for that. You'll do a self-evaluation, and then your full final game is in there too. So a bigger project that we're going to work on over the next couple of weeks with doing the peer review and stuff. But next week is all, our week 6 is all time to work on giving you time to make this. I know it's going to take some time. And then week 7 will be peer review, where you have time to then play each other's games. So make sure you're testing it out along the way. If you wait till the very end to try and test it, it's a lot harder to figure out what went wrong. So as you complete one little section, test it out. Complete another section, test it out, and just keep testing because that'll help you figure out your problems and like debug it in coding terms a little bit easier. So if you have any questions or you are wondering if you're on the right track with things or how to do something, don't be afraid to reach out to me, shoot me an email, stay on the WebExes after our class time, and I can help you with that.